So first exercise is going to be backward lunges. So grab your dumbbells, you're going to have feet fairly close together. What you're going to do is alternate taking one leg back at a time as you lean over. Notice my back is flat all the way through, so as you lunge back I'm leaning my chest over and you see my neck is just in front of my knee. A lot of times when people backward lunge they put too much weight on that back leg. So to get the butt you've got to lean over more. Lean over more than you are upright. The more upright you are, the more it's going to go into quads. Keep leaning over, making sure to keep the back flat. I'll look pretty much straight ahead. That just helps me keep my back flat. Focus on getting the butt on that front leg. So feet a little wider, you're going to turn the knuckles in front. This is a straight legged deadlift. And what you're going to do is bum back and lean over at the same time. So my knees are unlocked. Every time I drop down, I'm trying to find a stretch in the back of the legs and the butt. Find the stretch on the way down and you're trying to use that same muscle to come up. You can either keep the knuckles facing forwards or to get a better squeeze at the top, just roll the shoulders so the knuckles roll round to the side, and that just finds you can squeeze the bum a little bit easier. Notice my lower back once again is nice and flat. I lean over on the way down, making sure I get more of a bend from the hip than the knee. If you're bending too much at the knee, that is a squat. That is not this exercise, it's a straight leg deadlift. And then we're going back into exercise 1 again. So that's backward lunges, feet to starting fairly close. And once again, as you lunge backwards, you're just almost just trying to tap the foot, keeping most of the weight on the front leg. The back leg is just more for balance. And then lean over once again, notice how much my neck is out in front of my knee. The angle of my shoulders to hip, you see lean over, it doesn't drop any further than 45 degrees. So we're just trying to bend more hip than we are the knee joint. And that means we're getting a lot more butt than we are in the quads. So make sure if there's any knees, if you're feeling knees or quads, you're probably bending the knees too much. Just focus on trying to lean over while keeping the back flat. And then feet a bit wider, knuckles in front to start with. So bum goes back as you lean over. You notice I roll the knuckles in on the way down. And then as I come up, it's up to you. I prefer to roll my shoulders, roll the hands outwards. I get a better squeeze at the bum at the top. Don't just come up. Focus on getting the butt and the hamstrings at the same time. Squeeze up through, especially at the top. So you're trying to get bum and hammy. Knees are just unlocked. They're going to bend slightly, but most of the movement needs to come from the hip joint as you lean over. So exercise 3 is a forward lunge. So grab the dumbbells again, feet fairly close to start with. So you're going to lunge forwards, alternating again, and you're going to reach over. Just like you did with the backward lunges, you're trying to lean over. Once again, notice where my neck is in relation to my front knee, and it goes past. What I do is as my front leg lands, my knee doesn't go any further, I lean from my hip a little bit further as I lean over a bit more. And that is trying to get the bum and the hammy on that front leg every time. A lot of the time I see this, that knee, even when the foot lands, the knee continues to go forwards and you'll start to get a lot more pressure in that knee and in the quad rather than the bum and hammy. Learn to keep the knee still as that front foot lands and keep leaning over the top. But you've got to make sure that back stays straight throughout. So most of the weight lands on the front leg. And then what you're trying to do is control down and then power off that front leg back into standing. So feet together, say about shoulder width roughly. And then all you're going to do is squat back and down. So bum back and down. And then every time I hit the top, I'm trying to squeeze the bum. Every time I hit the top, squeeze the bum. And you'll see as I squat down, I've always got that 45-degree angle. I don't go past that 45-degree angle at my lowest point. If I had heavier weights, it'd probably pull me down further, but that is enough with these lighter weights. We're just trying to keep higher reps. So you'll notice as I squat down, bum goes back more than my knees bending forwards. Once again, that just makes sure we get bum and hammy doing the driving on it. And again, change the angle, just moving my mat as it starts to slide away. And forward lunges yet again. So you're going to start with feet fairly close, long lunge forwards, and again, notice how much I lean over that front knee with my neck. I'm trying to control that front knee. Yes, the front knee is going to bend, but we're trying to bend the hip more. When you get this right, you should feel the bum and the hammy on that front leg. So you're controlling the movement down into it, and you've got to power back into standing from it. Control it down and then power up out of it. You see my lower back doesn't start rounding. I've got it perfectly straight throughout. Any issues with it, just get rid of the dumbbells and then trying to get it right with just body weight. And then into squatting again. So you see my feet are roughly shoulder width. So you don't want to go too wide when you're holding the dumbbells by your sides. And you're going bum back and down every time. What you're looking for now is the knees. We don't want to make sure the knees are flying out too much on this one. So all we're trying to do is focus on forcing the bum back. If the knees are coming too far forwards or going out wide, you've probably got lack of range of motion in the hip joint. So just keep trying to force that bum back and down and keep that chest upright. When I say upright, I mean the back flat and you're trying to drop to 45 degrees. Cool, exercise 5, one of my favourites. Right hand with the dumbbell, and what we're going to do is lunge left leg to the left. You're going to reach just inside the left shin with the right hand, and then you're going to power back up into standing and then bring that dumbbell up to the right shoulder. So dumbbell's in the right hand, it's the left leg doing the movement. All you're trying to do is lunge to the left, and you're trying to force the bum backwards when that left foot lands. You'll notice my left knee does not flick out to the left. Because my bum flies straight backwards, my butt activates. When my bum goes back, I'm trying to control it on the way down and then power back up into standing. What you can't see from here is my back is perfectly flat. I'm going to change over. Same applies, force that right bum backwards and then power off. So it's the left hand that is coming into the left knee, the right knee, right shin, and then power back up into standing every time. Really common for people to let that leg bail out, that right leg bail out. What we're going to try and do is keep forcing that right butt backwards. That allows you to grab the butt. Power back up, keeping that back flat every single time. Grabbing the other dumbbell. And what you're going to do, this is a bit more upright squatting, okay? So you're going to hold the dumbbells. I'm holding 2. If it's easy, you can just hold 1 by your neck. What this is going to do is help keep your chest upright. You see, I don't quite get my 45-degree lean over on this one because I'm more upright. And what that's going to do is encourage the knees to bend a little bit more. Yes, you're still going to get the bum, but it's just trying to encourage the knees to bend a little bit more to get the quads going a little bit further. So you're going to try and squeeze the abs. You don't want that low back overarching, and whenever you hold something by the neck rather than by your side, it can load the back up a little bit further. So just make sure you're squeezing abs all the way throughout. Back into side lunges. So right hand, it's the left leg going to the left. So you're bending the left leg, the right leg is staying straight throughout. So you should find the stretch on inside that right leg, but also find the left butt at the bottom part. And then you're controlling the way down and then try and be a bit more explosive as you come out, and that right hand flies back up into that right shoulder. Try not to focus on pulling with that right arm, almost try and focus on the momentum of that left leg pushing you out, and the momentum is going to take that hand up towards the shoulder. Yes, you're going to have to move it up there yourself, but it's momentum. Changing over, so right leg to the right, left hand is going to drop down inside that right leg. My bum is going back every time, and again what you can't see is my upper body leans over to roughly 45 degrees at my lowest point. Same again, and then what you do is you pair off that right butt, and the momentum is going to help bring that left hand up to your shoulder. Squats again, changing the angle. You'll see I hold both my hands up by my shoulders. Again, if it's easy, you can hold one dumbbell by the neck. And same again, you're just going to try and keep your chest a little bit more upright, and that's going to encourage the knees to bend a little bit more. Any problems with your knees, just bring your hands back by your sides and keep trying to lean over more. Just trying to take the pressure off the knee. But we're trying to get a little bit more quad by holding the dumbbells in this position. Squeeze your abs again, making sure that lower back doesn't arch too much. Bum back and down and squeeze up tall every time. So exercise 7 is transverse lunges to start with. So legs pointing at 12 o'clock. Your right leg is going to lunge behind you to say 5 o'clock. Lunge back to the start. Then your left leg lunges to 7 o'clock on the clock face, of course. So as you're lunging, once again, you'll see the leg I lunge onto, my knee doesn't go too far forwards. That's because I'm leaning over again quite a lot. I'm trying to get my neck over the front of that knee. And my leg that I leave is always straight. My foot is kind of locked into the floor, and I rotate around. I'm trying to open the hip joint out, and I'm trying to focus on the butt on that leg that is bending, the leg I'm lunging onto. My back is always flat. If it helps, just look straight ahead. Look straight ahead. Keep your head up. That normally helps keep your back flat. Keep leaning over. Yes, the knee's going to bend too much, but again, if you've got too much pressure on the knees, you are probably not leaning over enough. And the more upright you are, the more the knee is going to bend. So now you're going to go right leg back. You're going to try and tap the floor with that right knee. It's a very brief pause before coming back up. You've got to use your quads and the bum especially to drive you up from that low position. Now, anyone with any back problems, hip or knee, your body might not feel comfortable dropping so low. If so, just do a normal backward lunge with that right leg not dropping so low. It is quite a deep movement, and for those who have quite a lack of movement in that hip, you'll find that the back will start to round a little bit. So you're going to try and keep the chest up as high as you can, and then tap the knee. Obviously we've changed over. You're trying to tap that back knee. It's a brief pause at the bottom, and you're going to drive up from that deep position using your quads and the butt especially. Back into transverse lunges again. So every time I lunge round, I'm going to land on that front leg. And again, you see my knees don't bend too much. If you're finding you cannot stop the knees bending too much, just don't lean over as far. Absolutely fine. And if you can't quite get the movement right, again, just get rid of the dumbbells. Try and refine the movement first. Try and get the right feeling first before adding any weight to it. So as I lunge over it, I lean right the way over with a flat back. And that really gets into the butt on that lunging leg. I'm leaving the other leg alone so it's nice and straight. Helps me break that hip up, helps get some flexibility in there. And the last exercise you're seeing there from side on. So I right leg back, I have a brief pause at the bottom, gets rid of momentum, switches the muscles off, and then I've really got to use the butt and the quad on that left leg to drive up. And you'll see I normally have pretty good flexibility in my hips, so my back is pretty good, it doesn't start rolling at all. Yes, of course that knee's going to bend a bit more on that front leg, because it's such a deep movement, but my lower back isn't rounding. So my quad and my butt are dominating this exercise. Little lean forwards just helps keep the weight over that front leg and helps you bend that hip joint a bit more. So we change leg to the opposite one. You may notice a difference between the two and the difference in strength. But again, if you find you don't have the range of motion and it's hurting the knee or the back is rounding, no problem, just don't drop as deep. So dropping that back leg if you can. It's just a little lean forwards, just so we're still bending that hip joint. Little tap, get rid of momentum, and you've got to start from the deepest position. It is a tough exercise. So going through it all again, back on lunges to start with, alternating, and again you'll see I bend at my hip joint a lot more than my knee joint. So you're just going to lean over with a flat back. Now it's up to you if you want to look straight ahead or look at the floor. Your preference. Looking straight ahead normally helps keep your back a little bit flatter. But what you have to do is control that front knee. If you don't control that front knee, it's going to bend a lot more and you'll put pressure on that knee and you'll get more quads, but we want to try and get the butt on this exercise. Then feet a little closer than shoulder width. You're going to roll the knuckles in front as you go bum back and down. Straight-legged deadlift. You're trying to find the stretch in the bum and the hamstrings on the way down, and then drive up through those two muscles to bring it up. So you don't really want the lower back to start rounding and coming out of it. The back should be straight throughout. As long as you're bending from the hip joint, the lower back should remain nice and calm. And lean over, squeeze at the top. Make sure you're using the right muscles to come out. Don't just do the movement, really focus on trying to get the right muscles to do the job. Forward lunges, feet fairly close with the dumbbells again. You can alternate, so as you land the leg, it's got to be fairly long. You have to make sure you're leaning over again. Once again, just look at my neck, where it goes in relation to that front knee. Lean over enough to make sure there's more hip bend than there is knee bend. You're trying to control that front knee when the foot lands. You can bend a little bit, but you have to lean over enough. If you're finding that your neck is sort of behind that front leg, you're too upright and it is going to force that knee to bend, putting pressure on it and getting the quads more. We want to keep trying to get the butt and the top hammy on that front leg. Control the movement on the way down and really try and drive up out of it. A little bit harder when you've got the dumbbells, and make sure you're keeping the back flat. If you're finding the back's rounding and the knees going too far forwards, just don't go as far into it. If you have to get rid of the dumbbells, you can do. Next exercise, feet roughly against shoulder width, and it's just a normal squat, bum back and down. You've got to make sure you squeeze the bum at the top. So that's the muscle we're trying to dominate. Bum back and down. Again, my lower back doesn't round. If you're finding the back's rounding, you're probably just going too deep for your flexibility of the hips at the moment. So just go to what you feel comfortable. If you need to do it in the mirror to start with, that's probably a good thing to do. You don't want too heavy weights because we're doing so many repetitions with hardly any rest. So bum back and down, driving up tall. You can look straight ahead or you can look at the floor. That is up to you. So dumbbell in right hand. You're going to go feet together. You're going to lunge left leg to the left. And then as you pair up out of that left leg, your right hand, your dumbbell in your right hand is going to come up to your right shoulder. So it's sort of going diagonal. So make sure when that left leg lands, it's got to be wide enough. Your right leg is straight and you're forcing that left hip backwards. If you don't have enough range of motion, that left knee is going to start flying out to the side. We don't want that. You're trying to get a straight line between your left ankle, left knee and left hip when that left foot lands. Which you can see mine's perfect, which is good. That's it, power out that left butt. Every time, again, what you can't see is my back is quite flat. So right leg to the right, using the left hand, just to come inside that left knee, sort of mid-shin, force the bum backwards, and then power off. I know it looks like my right knee is flying out, but it's just the angle of the camera. I promise you it's not. You're going to force that bum backwards and then drive up through that right butt and help use the momentum to bring that left dumbbell up to that left shoulder. And then you're going to hold the dumbbells up by your shoulders or by your neck. If you need to hold one, you can. So remember, this one is just trying to keep your chest a little bit more upright. This is going to make the knees bend. So if your hip doesn't bend as much, it means your knees have got to bend a bit more, which is fine, as long as there's not too much pressure on the knee joints. We want to keep trying to get the quads working. So you're going to squeeze the abs just to make sure that the lower back's kind of looked after. Keeping that chest high, looking straight ahead. And focus on the quads doing the work. You don't have to pause at the top on this one because we're trying to tire the quads out. Back to transverse lunges. So what you're trying to do is the leg you leave sort of pointing towards 12 o'clock, it's got to stay straight. You need to get used to this. Your knee's going to want to bend on it. It's the range of motion thing, you'll get used to it. So as you lunge, you're going to turn, the right leg is going to go towards 5 o'clock and the left leg is going to rotate to around 7 o'clock, if you can picture it as a clock face again. You're going to lean over, you're trying to control that knee that you're landing on. Again, you're trying to stop it from going too far and you need to lean over the top. You'll see my neck lean right over in front, but that's fine as long as you've got a straight back. That is meaning I have more range of motion in my hip than in my knee, so I'm getting more butt. If you're finding you can't control that knee and you can't stop it from barreling forwards and it's hurting the knee, just get rid of the dumbbells again and get used to the movement first before adding resistance into it. And then, so feet together, you are going to step right leg back, tap the right knee on the floor as long as you have the right range of motion for it. It's a brief pause at the floor and then dry back up. So you're switching the muscles off as you land the back knee on the floor. It makes it a little bit more difficult to come out of it. Again, if your back's rounding, hurting the knee, fine, just don't drop as low. Just get used to the movement first. And again, if you have to, get rid of the dumbbells and try it with body weight first while you get used to it. It's quads and butt on that left leg should be driving you out of it. Changing legs, same applies, left leg back, brief pause at the bottom, switch the muscles off and then drive again. Just get through momentum and means the muscle is going to bring you up out of a much deeper position.